Chop, chop, let's go! Hey everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. We are here, part 2 of the Water Feature Artist Studio build. I'm an Artist of the Year, and I'm the first one that's actually building in this studio. Yes. I'm here with Chris Hansen, Team Aquascape. Chris, we've got an incredible amount of work done in part 1.
Yeah.
What are we hoping for in part 2?
Well, I'm hoping that we can really just complete the rest of this stream. I love that we're going to tackle that Fountainscape section today, which is going to kind of mimic what you have in your backyard and really put your stamp. I mean, that is like one of your signatures that I'm super excited to see. It's going to be a main focal point back towards the house. Really excited to get that hammered out because I cannot wait to see what tricks you have up your sleeve. We got a hell of a lot of work ahead of us though, that's for sure.
Exactly, Chris. We got to get rocking and rolling here. First order of business, we're gonna get this deep stream section lined. We've got multiple seams to do here. Because of the way we're working in here and how tight the access is, I didn't want to just lay out one large piece of liner. We had to be muscling that thing around. So we're gonna do shorter sections of liner with seams so that we can do things in pieces and work our way back out of that back corner. Two liners are joined together by a solvent seam. Our next order of business is we're going to be putting a crossing in here. And what we want to do is have 2 stones that look like they're floating in the stream with maybe like a 6 or an 8-inch gap in between the two where the water will come through. This is going to give the fish the ability to swim underneath there, and you can walk over, again, looking like it's floating across the top of this deep section of water.
So we're getting ready to throw our bridge in here, which is actually a really important element to this whole project because it's what's going to take us from the house over to the shed over here. The challenge we have is the stream bed that we have here is about 8 feet wide and our bridge is only about 6.5 feet long. So instead of shrinking the stream down to accommodate the stone, what we're going to do is take half of that stone or a third of that stone, bury it back into this hillside over in here, get this all supported, and then use some block out here to, like basically a kickstand to support the other end of it. Hopefully the water level, we've done our math correctly and it's not our first time doing this, so I hope we get it right. Water comes up at least halfway up that bridge. Then we're gonna leave a little gap in between the edge of the bridge and another bridge piece and let that water just funnel through all this. So it'll actually really increase the current and push a lot of stuff this way, which is important because the koi love playing in the streams and we want the fish to always be swimming up and down through this whole thing. And so with that current, they'll go up and down all the time, kind of like a fish treadmill.
We're at the point now where we've got a lot of our stream section done. Our crossing is pretty much in and finished. Now we're gonna carve out this area around this faux tree, and this is where we're doing our custom fountainscape. Our main viewing area for the fountainscape is going to be the house. So you've got all these windows. You can imagine there'd be a bedroom there, maybe a dining room, sliders off the kitchen, probably some sort of another seating area there. And looking out, this is the area where you're going to get a great visual of that fountainscape. I want to wrap those wall sections around, maybe 2 or 3 sections, and then start incorporating and cutting in sections of the large stacked slate urn. We're going to have ribbon waterfalls coming out of a few of them, maybe into one another, and then into like a 3 or 4 inch deep pool that connects with our stream system. These wall sections are made from fiber stone. It's got a nice faux stacked slate look on it, which I think is going to work really well over here. There are toppers on here where the water is going to come out the front side and it's going to rain down the front of this wall. If we cut some of those urn sections into it, we'll get 2 different effects where there's like a ribbon waterfall nice and clean, and then behind it you've got the rippling going down the rock face. We're just about 2 full days in and we have got a tremendous amount done in this entire landscape. I still think we're gonna use every bit of the 5 days that we have here because there is quite a bit left to do. This fountainscape is gonna suck up a lot of time because there's a lot of intricate cutting that has to happen and a lot of plumbing. So we want to feed the tops of all these slate walls as well as those urn sections so we can get water cascading in all these different areas. Then we still have to go back and build a big waterfall, so we better get back to work. So we're 3 days in, and today we're gonna really focus on getting this Fountainscape settled. We've got some good bones going here. I envision just like a small pooling area around this where it's all cascading in and just kind of returns into this larger section of the stream, which then goes to the pond. We've gotten most of our cutting done and fabricating. Yesterday, Brian was cutting into this wall so we could fit this urn section in here. When it's done, we'll end up like foaming that, doing some moss, closing up the joints. It'll start to look like one complete feature. Coming up from the pond, we've got this larger area in the stream. We're gonna end up setting some large boulders, so this has more of a built-in look instead of a standalone. We don't want it to be super pronounced where it starts to take over the whole water feature. We want it to be a really nice component. We came off the backside of the large urn with another section of wall, and we're actually gonna use one of the patio bowls. That's about 40 inches wide. We got this cut in here. We're gonna sink it in. It's gonna look like it's countersunk into the stacked slate wall. Instead of running water out of this side of it, we're actually gonna plant this. So we'll have a nice soft connection between the urn and the bowl, and then from there we can do our rock work going back to where our big waterfall is gonna be. Since this is day 3, this is a big day for us. This is hump day. By the end of today, we have to be done with this Fountainscape and heading upstream. That only leaves us 2 days to completely finish and have enough time to get all our finished pictures and videos and stuff so we can show you guys what we came up with. We're gonna get this liner in. We've got a seam to do over here, a seam to do over there. It seems we better get started. We've got our base wall set for our foundation. Right now what we're doing is getting these really nice and level, because if we don't level them, it's gonna come off weird in the face. It'll be heavier on one side, lighter on the other, so it's really important we get these level. We're gonna fill these with about 1 foot of this pea stone. It's just gonna go in there, and that's just gonna provide ballast. It's gonna hold it in place so it won't move around when we get to backfilling and putting rocks around it. Now that we've got this one set, we can get this one leveled up, and that's what sets the tone for the rest of the Fountainscape. Then we can marry in our large urn. We've got other urn pieces. Then all those tops that Brian cut yesterday can get put on, and we can finish this thing up and get some plumbing in here.
So this just goes to show you how important laying everything out, kind of dry fitting it, and then getting the foundation set so that everything else goes nice and smooth, right?
The old adage, you know, measure twice, cut once. That's kind of what we're looking at here.
Perfect.
So pretty cool. We've got this giant rock over here, and such an important part to every project is adding some accent boulders into the landscape. If the only rocks that sit around here are just in the pond, then it doesn't have that natural look. And make it look like it's been here forever. You know, you look off into the distance, and like I got that big rock way back in there. We've got the giant rock that the pergola sits in over there. We want to create some big boulders here and there. Well, at the last minute, Stuart from Universal Rocks sent us some of these big character boulders. Now what's great about these is, Jack, turn around really quick. Can you just kind of flip that? Never mind, Corey. Oh! That's what's awesome about them. They're hollow, they're light, they're made out of like a styrofoam, and they look incredible. In fact, when we really look at the texture of this rock compared to maybe some of the colors and textures that are sitting in the pond over here, they're really close.
So we want to bring the water right up against the patio. There's going to be a block wall in here, really just to make it super interactive, ties into where this whole bar area is. And then we're going to have a big cooling area. We're looking like 13 or 14 inches of water inside this area. And then we've got waterfalls on the backside that are all feeding into here. This post for the pergola was right in the way, so we're like, let's just put it inside the pond. So what we did was we dug down to where the floor is. We're actually raising up the edge of the pergola. We're gonna get a gap underneath it. We're gonna slide our fabric and liner underneath it, so then when we're done, this will actually be in the water, which is it's gonna be pretty cool seeing the fish swim around this thing and then up and down back to the pond.
All right, so liner is going in for this next section of
Go up a little bit.
the deep stream, shallow pond, if you will. You can see we've got the beam, or excuse me, the post raised up. Now the next part is going to be fishing this liner underneath that column.
Not a whole lot done today, but when you're doing stuff like this with the Fountainscapes and you're bringing walls together and you're cutting in urns and you're cutting in bowls and you're trying to do all the plumbing, like the plumbing's kind of crazy in itself, things just come to a screeching halt, and there's no way we can continue to move on the waterfalls unless this gets done, because it's like part of, like, it's the foundation to everything. So we really kicked butt the first day. You know, we got the whole pond basically done. The second day we continued to move with the bridge and everything else, and then we got to this little section and it's only like 6 feet, and it's amazing because we did 30 feet over here the first day, and then you know, now we're getting 6 feet done, but it's going to look amazing. And I think that's the part that a lot of customers need to understand, like the cost of that, because the intricacy of it all is why it gets so expensive, right? So there's just so much detail that has to happen with it. But the detail is what makes it amazing. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this part. I think we've got a couple little special elements that we haven't even shown you we're going to throw in there at the very end. But I think that's a wrap for today. Tomorrow we're going to focus on waterfalls and hopefully actually get the waterfalls done and start landscaping this thing, because the goal is by Friday morning-ish. I know that pond guy, you've heard of him, really wants it done Friday morning for photo shoots. I don't know if Friday morning is going to work out, but we will have it close to Friday morning. Thanks for watching. And so with that current, they'll go up and down all the time, kind of like a fish treadmill.
Fish are going to go come up and down here underneath these stepping stones, kind of like a fish treadmill, I guess. So we've got our seam done from the pond liner into our deep stream. Hey fella. The best part about this is I'm not paying for any of this stuff. So we can just pack it up.
Yeah. Oops, give me another one.